You already know that modern dating is broken, but what if you have the power to fix it? Yes, you. So modern dating is in chaos. Why? Because modern dating culture is a reflection of our modern society. So we are overwhelmed with technology. Our values, our beliefs, our norms are all in question. Everyone is trying to figure things out. Some people are trying to drag us back into the dark ages. But the point is that there is a lot of change happening right now. And that can feel very overwhelming when you're dating and you're like, I just want to meet somebody nice. Like, I just want to meet a good person. I want true love. I want a soulmate. Like, how do I do that in the midst of all of this chaos? Well, here's how. And that's what I want to break down in this video. Here is how you can start to embody what we all want to see in the future, because modern dating culture is a reflection of everyone, and you are part of everyone. I'm part of everyone. So the way that we approach dating, the way that we approach our romantic relationships individually has a larger effect. So let's break it down. So here are three things that I want you to keep in mind and start to apply to your own dating journey. And make sure that you stay to the end, because I'm going to give you some heart work, which is like homework, but it's better because it's something for you to get better at love. All right. So the first thing to consider is that it's time to start dating for a relationship versus dating for a perfect partner. So relationships are better and more important than the list of who you think you need to date. So what does this have to do with dating culture? So we live in a culture where we're very focused on how much, does somebody make? How tall are they? We want to know all the data. We want to know all the stats. Why? Because, well, we have preferences, but also because we're looking for certainty, right? So you're thinking, oh, if I'm with somebody who has a certain level of education, that means that we're going to have a really intellectually stimulating relationship, and we're going to be able to share ideas and they're going to be on my level. Maybe that's true. Maybe that's not. There's some people who have advanced degrees who you wouldn't find intellectually stimulating at all. And there are people who don't have college degrees at all who you would find incredibly stimulating, and you would love to having intellectual conversations with them. So the list tells you, I need somebody with this degree, but the relationship that you actually want is somebody who you can have a great intellectual connection. So if you're willing to put that list to the side and say, okay, I might have a preference or I might have an assumption, but I'm actually focused on what does it feel like to be with this person? When I go on a date, when I'm talking to somebody, when I'm sharing ideas, are they excited about them? Are they able to meet me there? Are we able to connect on that intellectual level? So that's the number one thing, is that when people start moving from this idea of I can go through an app and I can set my parameters and I can choose the perfect person because I know what that's going to look like, versus I actually want to start engaging with people and see what it feels like. Feel like, what are the parts of being in a relationship with someone that I love and I want more of? And what are the parts that feel like, I could do without that, right? This is all data. So relationships, they are more important than the list. The second thing is to embrace the journey, right? So just as relationships are a journey, dating is a journey, your entire love life is a journey. And if you embrace it as a journey, then if you go on a date, if you date somebody for a few months and it doesn't work out, rather than feel like I wasted all my time, you can actually say, okay, well, what about this feels like a waste of time? Because maybe it was because that you were overlooking some red flags because you were attracted to the person, but now you're kicking yourself because you're like, oh, I knew from the beginning, right? That's data. That's information for you to say, okay, now I know going forward, I need to start to pay attention to my intuition. You should be getting stronger and more confident because of what you've gone through, not less, right? So I know I've been through it personally. I've been helping people with their own love lives for 13 years, as well as having my own long, winding love journey. And I know heartbreak. I know disappointment. I've been ghosted. I've ghosted people. I know all of those things. But the reality is that you still have so much power to look at what you've been through and to say, okay, here's what I've done really well. Here's what I want to get better at, and start to then use dating as a way to actually experiment with that, experiment with the boundaries, experiment with communication, experiment with attraction, right? Like maybe you're going to be more attracted to a different kind of person than you've ever given yourself permission to even consider. Okay, third and final thing that I want you to consider as a way of starting to be the change that we want to see in dating culture as a whole is your relationship with yourself. So in coming videos, I'm going to be talking about things like breaking patterns and flirting and how to know when somebody is wasting your time. I'm going to be talking about a lot of pragmatic things that are about the nuts and bolts of dating. But fundamentally, whatever is going to happen with you and other people, your relationship with yourself is the blueprint for that. So we don't have to be perfect. We don't have to wake up every morning and be like, oh my God, I'm so in love with myself. But you do want to start thinking about, okay, how can I pour love into myself on this journey? So that means, how can I have better self-talk, right? So you're not judging yourself, you're not shaming yourself, you're not beating yourself up, you're not saying, what's wrong with me, right? Or I'm never going to have the love that I want. Those things are normal. It's natural. We're human. We have that negative voice in our head. But I want you to start to bring more attention to it and just start to challenge it a little bit and say, well, what if I'm not behind? What if I'm actually right on time? What if I needed this time to learn all of these lessons so that I know that my next relationship is going to be the best relationship I've ever been in? What if that is the story that you're telling yourself? What if you're giving yourself credit for putting yourself out there, for trying, and you're being your own cheerleader? What if you're recognizing that, like, wow, I was open to that person and I found a nice connection? So your relationship with yourself, how you speak to yourself about what you were doing on your dating journey, how things are going, is so, so, so important. So imagine if we lived in a world where everyone was more focused on what happens between us, right? So that relationship, that connection over the list. What if we lived in a world where people were understood that this is a journey? I'm not going to be perfect, but I can do better. And by taking that personal responsibility, I can make better decisions in relationships going forward. And what would happen if people started saying, actually, I need to be kinder to myself. I need to start to pour into myself more. I need to start to ask myself, well, if I did believe that I was worthy of having the love that I wanted and the connection that I wanted, what might I do now? As a way of teaching yourself how to start taking higher self-worth action. If everyone started doing those three things, do you think that dating culture would be better? I think it would be a lot better, right? And so I implore you to start with yourself, because that is the only thing that we have control over is ourselves. And even that can be challenging. So with a lot of self-compassion, a lot of self-kindness, I want you to really think about how can you start to take responsibility for how you're showing up in dating, understanding that there is a ripple effect. Because maybe by you being the one who has the hard conversations, by you being the one who calls the elephant out in the room, by you being the one who's more flirtatious or more direct about what you're looking for, that could have a ripple effect on somebody that you only go on one date with, right? So let's start to be the change that we want to see in the world and in dating culture at large. Okay, thank you so much for watching. Make sure that you are subscribed. Comment, let me know what you think of this video. Let me know what other topics you want me to cover in the future. I'm so happy to have you here. So last but not least, here's your heart work for the week. Thank you so much.